Doom Eternal feels overwhelming to a lot of people. Even when you're winning, it can feel stressful. Even when you're good at it, it never really lets you relax. And I don't think that's an accident, because Doom Eternal isn't just a fast shooter, it's a rhythm game. Not because you press buttons quickly, not because of weapon switching for DPS, but because you're never allowed to stop playing the beat.
Pharaoh, it hurts when I breathe.
Well then, what do you think you should stop doing? Crawl, pigs!
Ow!
When people say Doom Eternal is a rhythm game, they usually point to the weapon switching. Shoot, switch. And yes, switching weapons can increase damage, but that explanation doesn't really capture how Doom Eternal actually feels to play, because even if you're not firing a weapon, the game still expects you to do something useful and meaningful. Movement, resource generation, positioning, setup. The rhythm isn't just in shooting, it's in everything you're juggling. In Doom Eternal, there is no neutral state. At any given moment, you're shooting to apply pressure, chainsawing to generate ammo, flame belching to generate armor, glory killing to generate health, grenading to control space, dashing to maintain spacing, and meat hooking to reposition aggressively. And if you're not doing one of those things, you're setting up the next one.
I had a goddamn plan!
That's the core loop. You are constantly converting action into resources. Health, ammo, and armor are not rewards you stumble across. They're chores you actively perform, correctly or not at all. That's why Doom Eternal feels so demanding. It never gives you downtime. In rhythm game terms, there are no respites. This is where Doom Eternal breaks from most shooters. In most games, health is something you pick up, ammo is something you conserve, armor is something you stockpile. In Doom Eternal, health comes from aggression, ammo comes from commitment, armor comes from timing. You don't wait to recover, you play to recover. And crucially, the game doesn't want to optimize this once and coast. It wants you cycling through this loop constantly. Shoot, recover, reposition, repeat. Miss the timing and the loop collapses. That's rhythm. There's one more layer to this, and it's the sneakiest one. Movement and spacing. Movement feels infinite. You can dash, you can jump, you can meat hook. And technically, you don't lose anything by doing those things. But movement in Doom Eternal is a soft resource. Not because it depletes, but because it determines which options are available to you. Good positioning gives you escape routes, line of sight control, target prioritization. Bad positioning doesn't drain a meter, it removes future choices.
I reckon I'm going to give it a bit of the old Scandinavian flick.
Dash into a corner and suddenly, chainsaw targets are blocked, glory kills are risky, escape paths vanish. That's opportunity cost. You didn't lose movement, you lost options. And Doom Eternal is ruthless about that. This is why enemies in Doom Eternal feel less like obstacles and more like sync checks. Each enemy tests whether you're still on beat. Cacodemons test interrupt timing. Pinkies test positional awareness. Archviles spike the tempo. Buff totems punish hesitation. And the Marauder? The Marauder is a strict timing window. He doesn't care how strong you are, he cares wherever you're synced. Miss the beat, you get punished. Hit it, the fight flows. That's why he feels miserable when you're out of rhythm, and amazing when you're locked in. This framing explains something a lot of players struggle to articulate. Why Doom Eternal feels stressful even when you're doing well. Because the game never lets you disengage from the rhythm. You can't turtle, you can't pause, you can't slow the tempo. Even at full health, full ammo, full armor, you're still moving, still planning, still setting up the next beat. Players who bounce off Eternal often describe it as exhausting, overwhelming, and too much to manage. That's what it feels like to be off beat. Players who love it describe it as flowing, clicked, almost musical. That's being in rhythm. This can probably explain why people prefer Doom 2016 over Doom Eternal, despite the game being nowhere near as mechanically deep. Doom 2016 demands less from the player concerning resource management, movement, and resource creation. This means the player is less overwhelmed dealing with all the systems the game has to offer, and they aren't wrong for saying that, as sometimes less is more. You can also better emotionally attach yourself to your favorite gun in Doom 2016, an idea that I'll be exploring in the next video. Doom Eternal isn't about dealing the most damage, it's about never breaking the loop. You're always doing something, always converting action into resources, always managing timing, spacing, and pressure. Miss a beat, everything falls apart. Stay in rhythm, and the game sings. Doom Eternal isn't asking how hard you can hit, it's asking whether you can keep time. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.